Today I'm going to change everything that you think you know about San Francisco real estate. Real estate is as straightforward as the game of pickleball if you play it right. But if you've ever picked up a pickleball paddle, you know it's not just a game, it's a strategy, it's a mindset, it's a battle of wits. And just like in pickleball, selling your home in this competitive market requires precision, timing, and the right moves to win. As a number 2 team in San Francisco, I want to share with you the strategy, the mindset, and the moves that you need to start playing the San Francisco market like a pro. There are certain plays that we have in our pocket that help our sellers get ahead. I'm going to give you all of that, all of those secrets in this video. So if you're new to our channel and you want to know the ins and outs of San Francisco real estate, we're going to be back every Monday at 5 p.m. with a new video. So let's start with the court. This is going to be equal to your property and the market. In pickleball, knowing the court is going to be half the battle. Your property is your side of the court, and the San Francisco market is going to be the whole playing field. Where your court is located, that's going to determine how many buyers are going to be willing to play ball. Luckily, San Francisco location is awesome, right? But within San Francisco, there's a lot of nuances, right? So walkable neighborhoods, I've talked about this before, they can command up to 20% premium. For example, a place like Noe Valley or the Marina that has a walk score of over 90%, those homes are going to sell faster and for more money than smaller homes in less walkable areas. So understanding these market dynamics, it's like knowing every inch of your pickleball court, and that's how you play to win. Sun is another factor that makes neighborhoods super sought after. In San Francisco, we have all these microclimates. Sun, most of the time, comes at a huge premium, but not always. There's going to be neighborhoods like Soma, South Beach, where you can get sun and you can get walkability, and they're currently on sale. So working with an agent that's going to help you understand the nuances of your particular neighborhood and help you set your expectations correctly out of the gate is going to be really important. And in a minute, I'm going to tell you more about why that's so important for a successful sale. Just trust me when I say that understanding your location and what makes it special or not, that's going to be your first step in positioning your home. When it comes to your specific property, no matter where it's located, let's think about the non-volley zone or the kitchen as your pricing sweet spot. And if we go too low or too high, you're going to be out of bounds. The baseline is going to be your minimum acceptable offer. The further back you can go, while in the mid-court, that's going to be your ideal price range. And with San Francisco's limited inventory, just like the precise dimensions of a pickleball court, understanding these elements is going to allow you to play smart and allow you to secure the win. In pickleball, you have the paddle, you have the ball, you even have the net. All of these play a critical role in your performance, right? The same is going to go for selling your home in San Francisco. Let's talk about how your equipment, which is going to be the condition of your home, your listing, and navigating all the challenges can make or break your game. So just like a high quality paddle is going to give you control and power on the court, a well-maintained, attractive home is going to give you more control over the selling process. I'm going to explain a little bit more about why in a minute, and I think that this is really honestly something that not everyone understands. I would say on average, our sellers are spending $30,000 to $50,000 on home preparation, sometimes more depending on the size of the house. But I think most of the time that investment is going to return 2 or 3 times the amount of the final sales price. But you need to decide how to get the best use of your money. So that's something that we're really good at, is teaching you about return on investment. So it's all about making the smart upgrades, which the basics, you guys, are fresh new paint, new lighting, refinishing floors if they need it. Sometimes we update countertops. A lot of times landscaping, that's one of my favorite, makes a massive impact. All of these things can really enhance your home appeal and give you the upper hand. Let me show you an example. So here's a home that we sold. The seller actually inherited the home, and I'm fortunate that we actually have gotten to work a lot with this family. It's actually such a sweet story. The grandmother started buying homes and a long time ago and ended up passing them all on to all of the family members. So when this particular family member contacted me, he wanted to sell it off market. The carrying costs, like just for the mortgage, they were too high for him. He didn't have cash for upgrades. He told me, like, Ruth, I'd be happy to sell this for $2.4 million and just have a quick sale. I can't carry it. I was just like, like, this breaks my heart. I think we could sell it for a lot more just by doing some upgrades. It was a big house, and so it needed like not less than $100,000 worth of cosmetic work in order to get to the price that I thought was achievable. And as I looked at it, there were some really complicated permitting issues. So the home, it was technically 2 units, but it had been reconfigured like a long time back to make the second unit really small, which is a big no-no in San Francisco. And it was done without permits. So the new buyer was going to have to take all of that on and understand the complications with the city. No developers wanted to touch it. So I talked to Compass Concierge. We were able to get $100,000 in money, like for him to use to upgrade the home. And if I remember correctly, I think we spent a bit more than that. But the location of the property, it's super, super prime on Cesar Chavez, really walkable to 24th Street in Noe Valley. The bones were phenomenal. Look at all this charm, you guys. It really had everything. It's 3 to 4 bedrooms on top, 2 baths on top, and then a full entertainment space. Look at these really high ceilings. You've got cove details here on the ceiling. There's wainscoting as you walk through. I mean, this is just like the beautiful quintessential San Francisco home. And I knew that buyers were going to swoon for this property. So we painted the entire place. We needed to paint it inside and out. So that was expensive because it was big. We added grass to the backyard that was previously hardscaped. I mean, look at the difference between how it looked before and how it looks now. Backyard improvements, you guys, they go such a long way. And I honestly, like, I'm shocked sometimes myself about the before and afters on what like our landscaper can do for like $15,000 or $20,000 in these yards. Like, it's mind blowing. There's been so many of them that I'm like, wow. I think that a backyard improvement can get you sometimes like 4, 5, 6 times the investment. We also changed the countertops throughout in both the lower unit and the main space. We changed a bunch of lighting, we changed out the appliances, and we put it on the market. So get this, you guys. We ended up with something like 12 offers, and it sold for over $1 million more than the price he was asking off market. So needless to say, he was very, very happy that 100,000, or maybe it was 120, like it gained him $1 million plus all of our hard work, obviously, but it was amazing. So the next ball is going to be your listing. And that's where the game gets going. Your listing, it needs to be strong. It needs to be accurate. It needs to be strategically crafted to catch the attention of the right buyers. So this is going to be where like really good photography, super compelling descriptions, and effective marketing really come into play. And you all, great photography starts with great prep. If there's not a good canvas to take a photo of, it doesn't matter how good the marketing is, no one's gonna look at it. Also, if the marketing is basic cookie cutter websites and social media ads that look like everyone else's listing in town, then how is your house going to stand out? So here's a fun way to test your agent if they're good at marketing. Try Googling some key search terms for buying or selling in San Francisco. Let's just try it. Okay, let's try selling your house in San Francisco. Okay, so on the first page of Google, we have our team. That's like 5 mentions out of like 15. So you get where I'm going with this, right? If an agent is like telling you in their listing agreement, I can market your house better than anyone else. Question, do you think if they're really good at marketing that they would be really good at marketing their own company, which is whether they have a big team like me or it's just an individual person? Don't you think they would put that marketing expertise to work for themselves? I don't know, just something to think about. So what I would be asking is, are they doing anything outside of the box? Or are they simply following like the standard set of templates that the broker provides them? They're like plugging you in or pressing a syndication button, and then, that's it. And that's what a marketing plan is. So think of it as making sure that your ball is in top condition so that it moves exactly where you want it to go. Okay, and then there's the net. And the net is the marketing challenges and the regulations, yay California, that you have to navigate. So what could possibly go wrong? In a minute, I'm going to tell you. But just like in a pickleball match where there's going to be a net that's going to help you or hinder your serve, the market ups and downs along with local regulations can definitely impact your sale. So understanding all of these elements and knowing how to clear the net is a key to keeping your sale on track. So these challenges can be endless and they can be ever changing. We've had some big ones, like how do you sell a house without an open house? Thank you, pandemic. I was able to sell a home sight unseen during the pandemic. That was a little crazy. But some more recent ones, like should sellers consider to offer commissions to buyer's agents? There also was a very big curveball in the summer of 2022 when interest rates shot up overnight and suddenly property values were very different. So whether or not it's a global pandemic, a bombing in Ukraine, a government shutdown due to an unapproved budget, there's going to be a lot of like big and little things that seem to happen every quarter. And these things, they can actually throw a really big curveball into your play. So in the end, having the right equipment and knowing how to use it is going to give you the confidence and the capability to play the game really well. And so when you're selling your home in San Francisco, you want every advantage that you can get. So now it's time for the serve, which is my metaphor for listing your property. So just as the serve in pickleball is going to set the tone for the entire match, listing your property is going to be your first critical move in the San Francisco real estate market. A strong, strategic serve can put your opponent on their back foot and give you the upper hand from the very start. So similarly, a well-executed listing can attract the right buyers and it can set the stage for a really successful sale. So when you serve in pickleball, precision and placement are key. So you aim to land the ball where your opponent has a harder time returning it, right? And then you're going to gain the advantage right away. In real estate, this is going to translate to setting the right listing price, which is probably the most important thing you can do. So this is critical. It's going to ensure that you're going to attract serious buyers. You're going to generate interest that is going to be needed to spark a competitive bidding environment. When it comes to pricing, you guys, there's not like a one size fits all strategy. In certain neighborhoods, low pricing is going to work really well. Well, in the same neighborhood, if the target end price is over 5 million, it can backfire. It depends. Ultimately, if you price too high, the house is going to sell for a lot less than it would have if you priced it correctly. And correctly doesn't mean accurately. It just depends, right? Correctly means whatever gets you the highest price. So just like an off-target serve can cost you a point, overpricing or underpricing your home can lead to missed opportunities and a lot of missing money. On a serve, there is more than the initial price, right? It's about where and how you place that serve, or in real estate terms, how you position your listing in the marketplace. So are you targeting the right buyers? Is your listing reaching them where they're most active? In pickleball, we're going to aim to serve in the opponent's weak spot and hopefully make it really hard for them to return. In real estate, this is going to mean crafting a listing that's going to speak directly to your target market. We're going to hit them where they're most likely to respond. So whether or not that's an open house, it's an email, it's a specific online platform or social media, or even YouTube or targeted ads. So timing, that's going to be another critical factor. So in pickleball, serving at the right moment can catch your opponent off guard. So similarly, when you're listing a home, listing it at the right time, and we have a lot of seasonality in San Francisco. So is it going to be in the peak time when there's a lot of inventory? It's going to depend on your situation, but timing actually can really make a difference. So we have a lot of seasonality, but not all homes are affected as much or in the same way. It kind of depends on the home that you're trying to sell. So for some homes, a summer sale could be great. So we just talked to a seller today and she wants to sell a condo in Soma, but it's actually not going to be ready until the end of October. And we suggested actually that she waited until the new year. January in San Francisco is a fine time to list, but with that product in Soma, given the other properties have a really high average days on market, we were worried that it was better if she waited than possibly missing the fall market and then racking up a bunch of days on market. And she agreed. So even though homes listed in April and May, they often sell like 10% faster and I don't know, statistics say 5 to 7% more than those listed in the slower winter months, there can be an advantage to beating the inventory earlier in the season when buyers haven't seen anything for a really long time. You guys, in January, I have buyers, we are talking them out of buying bad homes. They are just like ready to buy because they haven't seen anything for a long time. Anyway, the reality is it's going to be different for everyone and every product. So feel free to reach out. We're happy to talk to you about what you need with regard to your life and your listing. But the bottom line is timing is going to be crucial to be getting the best results. So it's about knowing when to make your move to ensure that your home doesn't just sit on the market, but that it gets snapped up quickly. And let's not forget about the double bounce rule in pickleball. So before you can start volleying, right, the ball has to bounce on each side of the net. So in real estate, this is like waiting for the initial market reaction before making any adjustments to the listing. I mean, hopefully you get it right out of the gate, but sometimes you might need to tweak your strategy based on early feedback and interest levels, just as you would adjust your game plan after like a few volleys in pickleball. So in pickleball, a strong serve is going to set you up for success, right? And in the real estate market, listing your property with precision and strategy, that's going to be your first most critical step. And if you nail it, you're going to be well on your way to winning the match. Let's talk for a minute about how we keep score. So scoring in real estate, it's very akin to attracting and evaluating offers. So in pickleball, you know, only the serving team can score points, right? And every point obviously brings you closer to a victory. The same principle is going to apply when you're selling your home in San Francisco. So let's say that each offer is a point on the board and it's up to you to maximize every opportunity. So some offers are going to be easy returns, while others, they might challenge us a little bit more. Evaluating these offers is going to require the same kind of strategic thinking as pickleball. So we're going to need to consider the offer price. We're also going to need to consider the terms, the contingencies. We're also going to need to consider the buyer's ability to close. This is a big one, you guys. There's also some not so obvious stuff like who's the buyer's agent? Who's the lender? What are their reputations? A good buyer's agent is actually really important. It's going to mean the buyer's really well prepped. It's going to mean they understand the disclosures, that they trust their agent, because honestly, there can be curveballs. And when these come, you need a good agent on both sides to navigate them, especially if they're big. So working with a listing agent that's done a lot of deals in their market, right, and can help you evaluate all these things is really crucial. Is this a straightforward shot that you can confidently return? Or is it one that might require some finesse to turn it into a win or keep it as a win? And let's not forget, in a seller's market, which are most products in San Francisco right now, you often have the advantage, just like serving in pickleball. But it actually doesn't mean that like you can just let your guard down and take these things for granted. So each offer is going to present us an opportunity that may or may not help you win, and depending on how fun the game is, right? So just as in the game where you're going to aim to win by at least 2 points, in real estate, the ideal situation is going to be to have more than one offer come in. And that way you can leverage the offers against each other. That's how they're going to negotiate to the highest price, and that people are going to be non-contingent. So this is your chance to win by 2, securing you an offer that gives you the best possible return on your investment. So we recently helped a seller in the marina, and we were able to close an off-market deal that was $300,000 above their expectation. And this was thanks to our network and negotiation strategy. So I love this because in this analogy, it shows that even when a ball is in play off the public court, you can still win really big if you have the right partner. All right, so as offers are coming in, let's think of them as points on the board, right? Each one gets you closer to the ultimate goal, closing the deal at a price with terms that make all of this worthwhile. But now we're at my favorite part, offers and negotiations. Love this part. So let's refer to this as the rallies in pickleball. So in pickleball, the most exciting part of the game often comes when there's rallies, and it's a fast-paced back and forth where each player is testing the other player's skill and strategy. In real estate, this is exactly what happens in the negotiations. So it's a dynamic exchange where the outcome isn't just about who hits harder, but who plays smarter. So every counteroffer, every term that's discussed, it's like a volley in a rally. So you're responding to the buyer's moves, and you're positioning yourself to win, or in this case, to secure the best possible deal. So the key is going to be stay agile, just like on the court. So you want to keep the momentum going in your favor without making a misstep that gives the other side advantage. So staying out of the kitchen proficient in pickleball, it means avoiding like risky plays that could cost you the point. So let's just take a minute and talk about some potential risks. So in real estate, this means working with an agent who's aware of the kind of things that could cause a property either not to sell or to sell for a lower price. Quick story, recently we were prepping this house for sale. It was so cute, like super, super cute. We did a lot of cosmetic things, particularly to one section of the house, but it really looked like well taken care of. But when we did the inspections, we found that the roof needed to actually be replaced immediately. Also, there was knob and tube wiring and there was galvanized plumbing. So we know based on like past sales, and because we do a lot of business, right? We know that this combination of things could mean that the house was not insurable. So we immediately reached out to some insurance agents, like the guys that can do anything and get it all done. And we found out that there's nobody who's going to insure this house without a new roof. So we quickly switched gears and we're in the process of replacing the roof. But additionally, there was like this really large pest report on the property. And after thinking through it with my business partner and putting ourselves in the buyer's agent shoes, like reading the disclosure as a buyer's agent, we just thought like this house is either not going to sell or it's going to sell for far less than it's worth if we just move forward like this. So we got on the phone, we talked to sellers, we told them like we would help address some of these issues, and that was the best way to get them the highest price. We're happy to take on the extra work. So we're managing those updates now. So I do think it's highly likely that many listing agents, they would have just moved forward. It's easier, right? Just move forward, put the house on the market. It's a lot of work to oversee contractors, right? We get paid the same for overseeing those contractors, but we really want to help that client sell for the highest price. It would have just been really bad for the client's bottom line to do that. So that's not what we do. So I do think working with an agent who works on both sides of the deal is really important so that the agent who you're hiring also sees what the buyer's agent perspective would be. And you guys, these people have to sell like a couple of homes a week, because the only way that the agent is going to have the foresight and the knowledge to know the things that can go wrong is if they're doing transactions all of the time. Otherwise, they'll be giving you the best advice they can, but they just don't have the advice because they don't have the experience. So just like in pickleball, where sometimes you have to anticipate your opponent's next move, in negotiation, you also need to think a few steps ahead, and you need somebody experienced in order to help you think through those. What is the buyer really looking for? How much room do you have to maneuver without compromising your position and scaring them off? So understanding these nuances can turn a really tough negotiation into a winning rally. Ultimately, the rally isn't over until the point is won. And in real estate, that point is won when you've negotiated the best possible terms and ensured that you're not just closing the deal, but you're winning the match. All right, let's talk about double strategy. So your agent is going to be your doubles partner. So in pickleball, when you're playing doubles, it isn't just about having two people on the court. It's about working together, coordinating your moves. Selling your house in San Francisco, it's no different. It's a team effort. And your real estate agent is going to be your partner in the match. Working with your agent is going to require clear communication. Also, it's going to require a shared game plan. But your agent isn't just there to list your home. They are there to strategize with you. They're there to help you anticipate the marketing moves and adjust their approach as needed. So think of them as the partner who's always in the right position to back you up, whether it's advising you on pricing, marketing, or negotiations. So coordination is going to be really vital, right? In pickleball, both players need to move in sync. They need to anticipate each other's actions. So with your agent, it's about being on the same page throughout the entire process, from the initial listing to closing the deal. And your agent is going to be there to ensure that every single move is calculated, every decision is informed, and every step brings you closer to that winning match. And let's not forget, you guys, the advantage of experience, right? If you're in a doubles match and you have the choice to have a really skilled partner, like, can we all agree that would make a massive difference? It's like playing with a seasoned pro who knows exactly how to handle every twist and turn that the game might throw at you. For you, it's going to be very hard to judge the experience of an agent, because I'd venture to guess that any person that you've ever talked to has said they're at the top of something, right? Like, I'm at the 1% of my office, or like, I don't know, agents have a way of like turning that they're the top of something. I actually really feel for the consumer because it's hard to judge experience, because I think real estate agents are very good at kind of padding their stats. They're always like, I'm the top 1% of X, Y, and Z. I'm the top blah, blah, blah. There's a lot of exaggeration going on. And I think the reality is you need to learn to ask good questions, because you need somebody who has experience, which means you need somebody who's selling a house every week. Because the truth is, you guys, the vast majority of agents, they're not doing a lot of business. The average agent in San Francisco is only closing 5 or 6 deals a year. And so just like pickleball, the more games that you play, the more skill that you gain. So be sure to choose a partner who's playing a few games a week so that you know that they're highly skilled. Just ask them, right? How many homes did you sell this year? How many homes did you sell last year? How many homes have you sold in your career? So for me, even 1,000 homes later, I still learn on every single deal. Like, that's why I love real estate. And clients who partner with us, they're taking advantage of all of the knowledge that came before them. So ultimately, selling your home, it's a lot like a doubles match. Pick the best partner that you can afford, and the win is going to be in the bag. All right, let's talk about faults and errors. So this would be common seller mistakes. So in pickleball, even the best players make mistakes, but it's just like real estate. It's about minimizing those errors and staying focused on the strategy. The same way that a poorly timed shot or a step into the kitchen can cost you a point, there's actually really common mistakes that sellers can make that can derail the sale if you're not careful. So one of the biggest, we talked about this earlier, but it's overpricing your property. I swear, I know it's tempting to aim really high. I hear this all the time, but if you set the price too far above market value, you guys, you're gonna scare off potential buyers and hit the ball out of bounds. The result is gonna be that your home is gonna sit on the market too long. You're gonna have to lower the price. You're gonna miss the momentum. In San Francisco, days on market is the kiss of death. So almost always starting with a high price means a lower price than you would have gotten if you started it low to begin with. Now, this varies property by property. Underpricing can also be risky. So again, understanding exactly what you've got and how to price it appropriately is just something to work with your partner on. So in the game, hitting the ball too softly can set your opponent up for an easy return. Similarly, underpricing, depending on kind of what the end price is, it can attract a lot of attention, but sometimes people can't get there. So it really depends on the product. So it is about finding the sweet spot and placing the ball precisely where your opponent struggles to return it. Another common error that I see is poor presentation. In pickleball, a sloppy serve, it can set the wrong tone for the match. And in real estate, a poorly presented home, it does the same thing. So I walk through these homes with buyers sometimes that are presented poorly, and they honestly think, sometimes they think that the seller is desperate, but a lot of times they just can't see through the home. Like, even cheap staging can make the whole home look cheap. It's amazing how much prep really affects the end outcome. You know, similarly, like outdated photos, just cluttered spaces, lackluster description, failing to showcase the home, all of these things, they can scare buyers away before they even step in the door. They may not even step in the door. So just like a weak serve, it's just an unforced error that is totally avoidable. So lastly, don't underestimate the importance of adaptability. So in a pickleball match, sticking rigidly to one strategy without adjusting for the opponent's play, right? It can cost you the game. In real estate, this might mean failing to adapt to the market feedback, or adapting too slowly, or being inflexible in negotiations. So I just think you have to stay open to adjustments, whether it's tweaking pricing, reconsidering offers. You need to keep the game moving towards your goal. So quick story, sorry, I love stories, but a few months ago, we had a listing on Market Street. For those of you who don't know, it's a very busy street, one of our busiest streets. After analyzing what was working in the market at that time, you know, we worked with the seller. Together, we chose a very like transparent price, which means like something like it was set at a number that they were expecting to get, right? It was around $2.5 million. The house was beautiful, amazing views. My seller had done a lot of work to it. They did a really, really great job. Despite our marketing efforts, I'd be at the open house like practically by myself. There was nobody coming. And after just 2 weekends sitting there by myself, I talked to the client and we talked about this crazy move to drop the price price by $700,000, which was like way lower than they paid for it. And that didn't even factor in the renovations that they had done, which were several hundreds of thousands of dollars. But fast forward another few weeks, we ended up with nearly a dozen offers, and we sold it basically right at the previous list price, which was the number that they wanted. So winning the game is closing the sale, right? So every match in pickleball, it's going to lead to that exhilarating moment when you're just 1 point away from victory. Selling your home in San Francisco, it follows a similar trajectory. After all the preparation, the strategy, the negotiation, it all comes down to closing, right? Until the money's in the bank, the deal's not done. So this is your match point, and how you handle it is going to determine whether or not you walk away as a winner. So reaching 11 points in pickleball, it's a milestone, but remember, you have to win by 2. So in real estate, that's going to mean that securing a great offer, it's not enough. You need to ensure that all the final details align to truly close the deal at the best possible terms. And honestly, it is about so much more than price. The terms are really important. The contingencies are really important to make sure that the transaction is going to go really smoothly and get all the way to the closing table. So the final serve, right? It can be nerve-wracking. And the same goes for closing in real estate. If you've done your job right with your partner, that means preparing the disclosure package and making sure that it's bulletproof, that it addresses any questions that may can't come up. When we have a report that shows a questionable foundation and we're on the listing side, as soon as we get that report, we're going to be talking about getting a structural engineer in there to address those questions and clarify the situation, because we want the buyers to understand 100% everything about the property before they write an offer, so that they have no reservations and they feel comfortable removing contingencies, right? If they have questions, either they don't write or they write a contingency to do their own investigation. If we feel that a buyer is going to be concerned about insurance, we're going to go and look for insurance bids up front, or like make adjustments like the roof, right? And we're gonna make sure that the client feels comfortable that they're going to get insurance. So these are just like a few things that are gonna help buyers, hopefully multiple of them, move forward with a lot of confidence at a high price. So just like serving with precision and confidence, you need to approach this stage with clarity and focus. So everything that you've done up to this point, it's set the stage for this moment. And so it's gonna be critical to stay on top of every detail and make sure that nothing is left to chance. So negotiations at this stage, they're the most critical. In pickleball, you might have to return a tough shot or make a quick adjustment to secure that final point. In real estate, it's going to be about being ready to handle last minute hurdles. And you guys, they happen. Last year, we had a property on the market. It was a big rainy season, and we received an amazing preemptive offer. A few days after that, we were in contract. We found out that the house had flooded. The deck wasn't installed properly. My clients had no idea, and it overflowed and it leaked into the house, and the water came in and went down 2 floors. Like, this is the last thing that you want to happen to your home or your listing while you're in contract. Luckily, remember I told you the buyer's agent really matters. We had a really strong buyer's agent on the other side. Her clients really trusted her, which was super important. And she and I worked super closely together. We were able to find a contractor. They were able to come in. They, met with the buyers, gave them like video updates. They fixed everything. The buyers were super, super comfortable. They felt really confident with their work. The deal stayed together at the same price. Both the seller and the buyer were happy, and it was stressful. Actually, I don't think it was that stressful for my seller. It was stressful for me, but it took 2 really good agents on both sides to close that deal. Also, if you're listening, big thanks to Everson and his team at Perez Construction, because they really pulled a miracle out for us in a very short timeline, and they were so amazing with the clients. So I don't know what we would have done without them. So having good vendors, right, that maybe owe you some favors and come through for you in a pinch is really, really key. And that's just something that you only get from doing a lot of business. So flexible, quick thinking, and a good team on both sides of the transaction, that's going to be key to ensuring that the deal doesn't fall apart last minute. So finally, when that ball hits the ground and you've won, it's a moment of pure satisfaction. In real estate, it's the closing, it's the sale, that's the victory. This is the culmination of all the hard work that we've done and the strategy and the smart decision making. So you made it. You've successfully navigated one of the most competitive markets in the entire country, and now it's time to celebrate your win. But remember, winning the game in real estate, it's not just about closing the sale. It's really about achieving the best possible price, because you probably have to buy something, and most of our buyers are staying here. But with the right strategy, the right real estate partner, and the right focus on every detail, you're not just playing the game, you're winning it. So if you'd like to take your first step into serving up a successful sale, my team and I are here to guide you every step of the way. As I mentioned, we've helped over 1,000 families play the San Francisco market like a pro, and we're ready to help you do the same thing.